All right, welcome back to another daily devotional. Today we are on day 3 of enduring well as we journey with God. So Ephesians 3:16 through 19 is the verses for today. And it goes, I pray that out of his glorious riches he may strengthen you with the power through his Spirit in your inner being, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith. And I pray that you, being rooted and established in love, may have power, together with all the Lord's holy people, to grasp how wide, long, deep, high his. Sorry, I pushed it out a little bit. Let me try again. Together with all the Lord's holy people, to grasp how wide and long and high and deep is the love of Christ, and to know this love that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled to the measure of all the fullness of God. Let's break into that a little bit here. So the power of endurance. So when we think of endurance, we might envision someone who grits their teeth and musters up enough willpower to push through a difficult situation. Yeah, pretty much. However, the Bible tells us that God's kind of endurance does not come from within ourselves, but from the Holy Spirit. Just as a car needs fuel or a cyclist needs food for energy, we need the Spirit's power to endure in faith. Oh, I love it. That's why you got to ask God every day to renew your spirit. We're not doing this on our own. Don't even try. Bring God along. He is the best supporting character you can have. I mean, he's the main character, but he loves to support us. So each time we encounter a difficulty and invite the Holy Spirit to enable us to endure through it, we can experience the fullness of Christ's love. In Ephesians 3 verse 18, Paul prayed that believers would comprehend the breadth and the length and the height and the depth of Christ's love, so that they might be filled with all the fullness of God. Endurance then is tied to intimacy with Christ. Thanks, author, for giving me a second shot at reading that. But I agree, the closer the relationship you have with God, the better everything, or the easier everything's going to feel, right? So abiding in Jesus through his word, prayer, worship, and rest is how we remain connected to the power source. Let's read that again. Abiding in Jesus through his word, through prayer, through worship, and rest is how we remain connected to the power source. God is our unlimited energy source, right? And we have it right here. You got to be in his word every day. You got to pray to him. Pray first. We don't pray last. Like, we don't pray when things are falling apart. We need to continue to pray every day and be thankful for what we do have, right? Worship. Worshiping God. So I try to worship at the beginning of my prayers. I try to worship when I'm just driving along in the car and got the worship music playing. And, nobody has to listen to my rusty vocal cords, but except for God. Let's continue on here. Endurance is not cultivated by simply plugging in once a week at church, but through a daily relationship with the Lord. I feel as though when I was a kid, that's what church was. You went to church, you were godlike for 1 hour a day during the entire week. And that's just what it was. That may have not been how it was, but that's how it felt to me and what I saw. So I'm very glad that we have found a church now that offers so many different activities and things to do throughout the week. Then we have those touch points to continue to engage with other believers, which I felt like was lacking at the church I grew up in. They had a Bible study between church sessions, but that was, again, it was a once a week thing that was like 30 minutes between the church sessions. And it was just, I never went to it because I wasn't old enough to go to it, right? But It is what it is. So the Spirit empowers us not only to withstand trials, but to do so with the joy and peace. With joy and peace. Sorry. Endurance without the Spirit's presence becomes drudgery. Endurance with the Spirit becomes a testimony of God's life-giving power. So our reflection today, are you trying to endure in your own strength? Or are you relying on the Spirit's power? Ask God to strengthen you through His Spirit in your inner being. God, I ask every day. Ask God to recharge you every day. Just think about your phone. I'm sure all of you are carrying phones. You're probably watching me on a phone. You probably charge it every day. You need to be charged every day. Reach out to God. Talk to Him. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one.